The will of the mind of man is the most powerful force on earth. God never failed. I think I found a place in the Bible where God failed. God failed, if we can use the term for God, failing. God failed in his attempt to change the mind of 2.4 million people in the desert. He couldn't change their minds. Boy, the mind must be powerful. It was easier to deliver them from the power of Pharaoh than from the power of their thinking. Taking them from Pharaoh is no problem. God drowned Pharaoh, drowned the horses, no problem. God sent the plagues, no problem. And he finally got them out where he wanted them. They are now in the desert. It's just me and them. Oh yeah, it's going to be easy. They said, you think so? God took them from Egypt, and the place he was to take them, called Canaan, land of promise, milk and honey, is 30 days walk. They're supposed to be there in a month. It took them 40 years and they still didn't make it. That's a long walk to nowhere. I want you to watch this statement. The Bible says when God delivered them out of Egypt, he did not lead them on the road through the Philistine country, even though that was shorter. He could have gotten them there in 1 month. What's the problem? Because God said, God's thinking now, if they face war, they might change their, what's the word? Minds. God bound them in the mind already. He said, these people are delivered from oppression, but I got to deal with this mind they got. If they face war, they will change their minds. And look what he says, and return to Egypt. Could you imagine that the mind is more powerful than a promise?
Well, what we learn from Exodus 13:17 is that the power of our mind and our will is stronger than a promise. While God promises us blessings, he does not force those blessings into our lives. It is up to us to accept or reject them, just as we have the choice to accept or reject God. And this is where the importance of guarding our minds and the things we allow into it comes. What we meditate on and focus our attention on will ultimately determine the outcome of our lives. Proverbs 4:23 advises us to guard our hearts above all else, for everything we do flows from it. God gave us this advice because he knows what he has placed in us, and it will be unwise for us not to acknowledge that after all these Bible parables. Therefore, we must be mindful of what we allow into our minds and the thoughts we dwell on. We should only focus on positive, uplifting thoughts and God's words. By doing so, we can align our minds and wills with God's promises and receive the blessings that he has in store for us. Remember, regardless of your beliefs, the Bible contains valuable parables that offer insight on how to live our lives. These stories serve as a guide on what to do and what not to do, and offer us eye-opening lessons if we pay close attention to them. Whether you view these stories as literal or metaphorical, they provide us with valuable wisdom that we can apply to our daily lives. By studying them, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves, our relationship, and our place in the world. So let us approach these parables with a willingness to learn. By doing so, we can discover the lesson that God has provided for us and use them to become the better version of ourselves.